ago until the release of Prince Caspian, and this is going to be a special video because there's only been a couple of little pieces of news. David Arnold is going to score Voyage of the Dawn Treader, so it looks like Prince Caspian will be Harry Gregson Williams' last film, and David Arnold also worked with Michael Apted on Amazing Grace, and so both Apted and Adamson brought composers from previous films that they had worked on. They definitely have the Independence Day music that David Arnold got nominated for, still in my head, the dun 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 dun, you know, and so I'm really excited about David Arnold. I think he's a fantastic choice, and it'll be really interesting to see which themes he carries over from Harry Gregson Williams and if he makes new themes, because it doesn't take place in Narnia at all. It's totally a new environment. The other big piece of news, well, it's not really new news. I mean, they kind of said it back in a year ago, but Cary Grant, the Walden Media co-founder, said once again that The Magician's Nephew might be made after The Silver Chair, even though The Horse and His Boy was published after The Silver Chair. And so in this video, I'm going to just kind of explore the implications of that on the characters' ages in particular. And I made this video. I started thinking about the next video, and I just said, there's not much news. Why don't I do a video about, the characters' ages and what order they can make the movies in? And man, did I open up a can of worms. This is kind of the first time I decided to sit down and put it all on paper and see, okay, what's going to happen. And some surprising things came up as we're going to talk about. Okay, anyway, this is a really there's so many variables in this issue. I'm going to talk about just some of the biggest issues, but there's so many other things I don't even have time to talk about. But let's start with this. Here's where we are right now. William Moseley's 20, Anna Popplewell is going to turn 19 in December, Skander Keen's recently turned 16, and Georgie Henley is 12. That's where we are right now. They said they were going to do one film a year, and obviously they backed off on that with Dawn Treader. But if after that, which I think they might, if they start doing annual films after that, here's what it's going to look like. If they make this is all if they make Magician's Nephew after Silver Chair. You would get Magician's Nephew in 2012, Horse and His Boy in 2013, and finally The Last Battle in 2014. I guess I'm assuming they would do The Horse and His Boy in 2013. And if they did it, this is just a scenario, not official, I'm just guessing. If they did it this way, here's what it would look like as far as the characters' ages. Keep in mind that, as you can see, if The Horse and His Boy is released in 2013, that means they would film in 2012. So that's how they calculate their ages, as to when they would film, not when the film was actually released. So keep that in mind. And the ages, as you can see, are pretty close to the book. And as far as the ages, in general, in Narnia, the ages are not really important to the story. But in this situation, the only thing that's important is that Susan has to be old enough for it to be credible that she could be getting married, which she would be. Also, if you look at this one, it's kind of comforting because this is basically the worst case scenario for how old the kids are going to be. A lot of people say, well, are they going to be too young? Well, if they do annual films, this is probably as bad as it could get. Actually, I guess you could, if they end up making Horse and His Boy after Silver Chair after all, you can subtract 1 year from the actors' ages right there, and that's what you get. But this is pretty much the worst case scenario right here, which I look at that makes me feel pretty good about Horse and His Boy. I'm not worried about them using the original actors to reprise their roles in Horse and His Boy. So that's a pretty comforting thought. This is the worst case scenario. I could definitely live with this. I'll move on to Last Battle. This is, once again, if they do annual films, and Last Battle was a 2014 release. This is what it looks like, and those also look pretty good. They're all a little bit too old, but once again, the ages aren't that important. So that looks pretty good right there. So if you do annual films, even though I think the quality of the films will probably decrease, the characters' ages would be pretty close. So that's definitely 1+. Now we're going to look at another scenario. This is if they do what I want to do, or which I said I wanted to do, which is have them film every 2 years to deliver finer quality films. But like I said, consequently, the actors' ages would be off. There are some pluses to this too. So if they do after Dawn Treader, if they do every 2 years, here's what it would look like. If they do Magician's Nephew after Silver Chair, you would get The Horse and His Boy in 2016 and The Last Battle in 2018. This is every 2 years. So here's what it would look like for The Horse and His Boy. And The Horse and His Boy actually looks even better if you do it this way. They're all even a little closer to their ages, especially Anna and William look really good, so that would definitely be a big plus. Horse and His Boy looks like it'll be in good shape as far as the ages. But here's where we start running into trouble. We come to The Last Battle, and William Moseley is freaking 30. Anna Popplewell is way too old. Georgie's not bad, but you know, they're all way too old. Not that it really matters as far as the story. I'm probably beating a dead horse here, but it doesn't really matter that much. But I'm just pointing out that they're a lot older than the characters are in the last battle. Maybe it wouldn't matter. I don't know. The only reason it might matter to me is that it's cinematically. I would really love to see because no matter what happens, I don't know what you're gonna do, but I'm gonna watch the movies when they're all done in the order that the books were published. After the Silver Chair, I'm gonna watch The Horse and His Boy. I'm gonna watch the last battle last, no matter what, and because I don't see why I wouldn't, you know, and so keep that in mind. I don't know how you feel, but I'm probably going to get a lot of comments on this video, people with their own theories, which will be fun. But here's a couple things for you to keep in mind before. I mean, make sure you think about your theory. Make sure you really think it through before you post it, because it is a much more complicated issue than you would think. Here are just a couple things to keep in mind as you're posting your theory, your scenario. First off, the Magician's Nephew, I think, needs to come before the last battle. Maybe you disagree, but yeah, it introduces Diggory much more fully, and having Polly suddenly pop out of nowhere, you know, in a last battle wouldn't be a good idea. I mean, I know that I'm gonna watch Last Battle last no matter what, but Last Battle would lose a lot of its power if it wasn't the last movie. I mean, when it was all said and done for me as a fan, maybe it wouldn't matter. Whatever, I just watch it in that order. There's other things to consider too, but we got to move along here. Also, keep in mind I don't know how much this matters, but there's no age worries for the Magician's Nephew. Tilda Swinton is not a problem. If anything, it'll probably be a good thing that Tilda Swinton is going to look older in Magician's Nephew than she does in Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because she eats the apple and might look younger. So it's a rare situation where it would actually be a plus for Tilda Swinton to look older. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that, even though it might not make a difference at all. I don't know. Also, this is kind of a big one for me. The Pevensies in the books are 5 years older in Horse and His Boy than they are in the last battle. So you're reading the books, and the Pevensies are old. Well, not old, but you know, the oldest that they ever get in the series in Horse and His Boy. Then 2 books later in Last Battle, they're younger again. I always thought that was kind of a cool dynamic. I've never seen them like jump around, a book like kind of jump around with ages. Even if you do that in chronological order, it's still like that. Because of the whole time difference thing. So, once again, it's not crucial to the story, but cinematically, it would be so cool for me if, when I was watching the movies and it was all said and done, if they filmed The Horse and His Boy last. That would mean I could watch The Horse and His Boy after Silver Chair, and the Pevensies are old, then 2 movies later watch The Last Battle, and they're young again. Just cinematically, that would be cool, even though it's not essential to the story. Also, man, there's a whole new, so many other variables to this. It's Jill and Eustace. We don't even know who's going to get cast and how old they're going to be. There's so many other variables. Also, something to consider, what about Shasta and all the Horse and His Boy characters? Because you want everyone to appear at the end of Last Battle if you can. I still don't know how that's going to work, but that's something to keep in mind. You know, there's so many variables. Please think your theory through really closely before you post, because it's kind of a complicated issue. But there's so much I didn't have time to discuss in this video, but that's kind of some of the basic problems I thought, some of the scenarios. I mean, for me as a fan, it'd be cool if they made Horse and His Boy last, but you know, it'd kind of take away from Last Battle. But so it's kind of those two thoughts kind of going back and forth. So that's it. And also, I haven't heard anything, but I think that Reepicheep could be cast any day. His voice. Liam Neeson was cast as Aslan about 5 or 6 months before Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe came out. Well, we're coming up on 6 months until Prince Caspian. So keep your eye on the news, and I think that Reepicheep could be cast any day, which will be very exciting. That'd be one of the most anticipated casting announcements of the whole series for sure. So keep your eye on the news. Also, I just want to throw in here that October 16th will be the anniversary of Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was first published on October 16th, 1950. So, you know, for Narnia fans out there, just take a moment on October 16th in a couple of days and just kind of, I don't know, reflect, you know, kind of, you know, a special day. But 214 days to go until Prince Caspian, and a lot more days until the series is over.